start out with the budget for 2013. The projected budget that the board passed was to lose 180K. That's the bad news. The good news is we only lost 64K, and a lot of that was due to Scott's efforts, cutting cost. We thoroughly went through every sport budget, cut corners wherever we could to get to that number. So it may look bad, but actually that's a lot of hard work and dedication by all the sports to get that number where it is from where it was projected. Our 2014 budget looks much better. We're projected at this point to net 80K. Our cash on hand is in a good position. Last year at this time we were at 309. Right now 456, as you can see. Our 2014 year-to-date revenues as of the 9th are 371, and a net income on that revenue of 53K. Like I said, we're projected to hit just over 80 for this calendar year. Some list of events and accomplishments. We completed the audits for 2011 and 2012. We have 2013 in the works to get going as soon as we can sign the contract with the accountant. Like Jerry said, we convened a transparency committee. We wanted there to be no secrecy. We wanted y'all to be able to see what we were up to. They made several recommendations. We're going to start posting our meeting minutes online. We're going to post our audits. Also other information and the 501c3 forms we have to fill out. Part of our focus this whole year has to just be open and action oriented. Like I said in the budget talk, all the sports laid out their budgets on the table. We all went through them. We had a chance to review all that. We're trying to work as a team, not just one sport versus another.
Mark Nessman, who's our field guy, has been complaining for years that the doggone soccer guys shut the lights off by the breakers, right? So that happened about a year ago. There was 15 emails back and forth on how it was that way forever. So I met the electrician out there, and he said, you know, you have 480 volts not locked up and open to the kids, and that's a really, really bad thing. And he said, and you know, this key switch has been in here for at least a decade, maybe more, and I don't know why it's still here. It's the only one that's still here. I said, exactly how much is it going to cost to fix this? And how long can you have it, will it take to fix? He said, oh, about $300 in 2 days. So we've gone from 15 emails back and forth to 2 days and $300, and now we have a solution. The cabinets are locked, the gates are locked, there's a simple toggle switch, and guess what? Our irrigation doesn't get messed up anymore, right? So because every time we flip the lights off at the breakers, it also controls the electricity to all of the timers. So for the entire irrigation system, for the entire complex, right? So simple little things like that. I know it sounds silly, but I've been around long enough to know that we should have fixed that long ago. So these are the things that we're fixing, right? And that's what I mean by open and action oriented. It's like, well, what does it take to fix that? $300 in 2 days? Rock and roll. Let's do it.
We achieved extensive cost reduction by doing several things. Like I said, we looked for every nickel we could find. An example of that is our phone system. We changed carriers. We negotiated with the bank to get lower credit card processing fees. We now have a free registration system in Blue Sombrero. And Scott actually negotiated with the LTYA. We reduced the number of hours on our contract. Therefore, we paid less money with LTISD. As I said before, every sport budget was on the table. We rationalized all them. Every sport had a chance to look at everyone else's. We all agreed on the assumptions, and we all voted on them and approved them before registrations could be open. That way we're all aware of what's going on, there's no secrets, and the only surprises are ones that we know might come up. So I kind of hit that last point in that earlier discussion. If you could move to the next one.
Sure.
So Scott and Whitney went through the office and came up with some new processes for us. An example of that is, and Scott, maybe you want to discuss this, you know, we can track every single invoice. In the past, we'd have problems with maybe double billing, double paying. Those problems are gone now.
Yeah, for the life of me, in the first 30 or 60 days, I'll be honest, I couldn't figure out how do we double pay invoices, right? And so anyway, I figured it out. We were paying both invoices and statements. So we probably collected somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 in overpaid invoices in the last 11 months that we've been here. And now we have a process that the office would pay an invoice that we didn't even know if the sports had received the items. So now we have a process where the invoice comes in, it gets sent to the sport president to approve, the sport president approves it, and then before I sign it, it's actually a copy of the invoice, it's actually a copy of the approval from the sport president, and I actually initial both. But it's funny because we actually, Bill Stroud, who's not here, he's the president of football, he's traveling right now, but he sent me a note, he looked at the last budget, and he said, hey, I don't recall approving this expense. And we were actually able to identify the invoice, the check number, the approval, with my signature next to everything. We sent him everything. It actually was his predecessor, but we're able to now send all that to him. We have all the sports, or most of the sports are actually looking at their financials now and tracking it. So things are significantly tightened up and certainly a lot better. We have a PO system in place for the sports to order the things that they need for to deliver the sports for the kids. So yeah, lots better.
We've extended our partnership with Positive Coaching Alliance. That gives us tools to train not only the coaches, but also the parents and the types of behaviors we want to see out on the fields and with the kids. I think you guys all got the email. We just conducted an all-member survey. Scott, I don't know if we have any findings from that.
Yeah,
were you able to collate that stuff yet?
We've looked at some of it. I was hoping to be able to present some stuff tonight, but it's actually very interesting that the results aren't that easy to interpret. There's a lot of things that aren't that clear cut. Like for instance, anybody know what came out first and what your criteria is in deciding to play youth sports? If you just did a sum, what got the most number of points? Anybody want to guess what that was? Quality of coaching, right? I mean, I would have never guessed that. Where rec league, we have volunteer coaches, right? But that's actually number one. So those things, right? So it's like the string is out, and now I'm pulling on the string, and it's unwinding. So as it unwinds, we'll learn more and more, and we'll certainly send that out to you as we get there.
We have done some improvements out the field. We changed the traffic flow, so hopefully that works a lot better. We did some drainage improvements out there. We've established relationships with our neighbors where we can use their parking lots on the weekends. They can use our parking lots during the week. That's Qualtech and Bean Sprout Pediatrics. Hopefully y'all have noticed improved traffic flow. We updated our employee handbook. Like I said, we hired Whitney as our office manager and kind of shifted around her load so we have better office hour coverage. Football listened to feedback from the public, and we appreciate them for that. They added spring 7-on-7 football, and they've also expanded the flag offering to the older age groups. Baseball's made a few changes also. Instead of having the coaches' badges, when coaches complete their background check and everything, they get a shirt. It's actually cheaper that way, and we get better compliance from that. And they also added Wii Ball for the little guys. We've launched a YouTube channel with Cherry's help. Hopefully you guys will visit that, check out the videos online. Soccer replaced the barrier netting around the fields. I, for one, appreciate that. I probably lose 2 balls a month into the woods. Volleyball added, they're also sharing the facilities with the baseball and playing some of their games on the big baseball field. Another example of intersport cooperation. Volleyball added a spring season with paid coaches. In basketball, Adams joined us as the president of basketball. Have 3v3 play with Coach Newkirk, a new offering. So thanks for all you've done, Adam. Softball won the 2013 Pony Sectionals, 3rd place Pony South Regionals, and 7th place in the World Series. That's pretty impressive. Thanks for all you do. Here's some pictures. You see the shade structures over the fans at the baseball fields, and there's the new netting at the soccer field. Should mention Zordle. We got a favorable judgment last year against them. We haven't taken any action on it. Like I said, we were struggling with the budget, so we were reluctant to spend any money unless we were pretty sure we were going to get some money back from that.
You want to explain what Zordle is? Maybe most people don't know.
Yeah, Zordle was our previous registration system, and they stole a significant sum of money from us. And I don't know the size of that number, but again, we took them to court, we sued them, we got a judgment. Now the question is, do we spend more money to hire lawyers to go get the money in California? Is there money in California? I don't know. I don't know. So that's going to be an issue for the coming board next year to resolve that. So some things we've added. We've added rugby, instructional league. We've added Wii Ball. We've increased the number of golf sessions. Added spring volleyball. Football's added, like I said, the 77 in the spring and the flag for the older ages. And they've also changed affiliations to a new governing body.
And for the most part, the new offerings are really successful when we kind of look at the trends in new sports are to start the kids earlier and earlier. And so baseball said, well, let's test. Let's see if we can offer 3 and 4 year old, we'll call it Wii Ball for fun. And we were hoping we'd get 20 kids, 25. We opened late, right? And anyway, we got 60 kids. So there's 10 teams of 6. They played at Lake Point on Saturday mornings. And actually one of the unintended outcomes of that was we actually encouraged the parents. Like we told every parent, every kid bring a helmet, no kid bring a bat. We'll give the bats. 1 bat per team. But we encouraged the parents, go stand with your kid, play. Be there with your child. So one of the unintended outcomes is actually, I think we're getting more parent involvement at that level. There's lots of moms and grandmoms and dads out there with cameras and video cameras, seemingly having a good time. Spring volleyball, we've never offered it before. We're actually full. We're on a waiting list because we only had 1 gym, and all the feedback that we got was really positive. Coach Kaz, who's actually the high school varsity coach, was one of our paid coaches. So the 3rd and 4th graders got to get coached by the high school varsity volleyball coach. And the older coach, also Division I college player. Football, spring 7-on-7, they'd hope for about 35 kids. They get over 70.